Hello and welcome back to episode 5, can you believe it, of Paper People. My name is Amy Williams and I'm so happy you're here. Listen, I know y'all are going to start making fun of me because I'm like, every single episode, I'm like, I loved this episode. But the problem is they just keep getting better and better. I'm having more and more fun really than I thought I ever could with this series, and I'm just really grateful that you're watching it and you're enjoying it because I am living it and really enjoying it. So I just have to say, I loved this episode. Today I talk with Amanda Nelson of Amanda Loves Pens. She is your pen guru. If you've got a specific kind of pen you're looking for, she's your girl. Her knowledge, her excitement, her joy. I mean, I've been thinking about this a lot since editing the episode this week. I wish Amanda lived next door to me because she gives such the energy of like pop over with a pizza and like just hang out with the family. And isn't that all you really want? I think it's all I really want. I've just been thinking about how much I really love this community and how special I think we are. But it also is tinged with a little bit of sadness because I'm like, oh, Idaho is really far away. So until I can make it to Idaho, we'll just have to live in our online moments, and that's okay. Amanda and I talk about a lot of things. When I sit down to brainstorm my intro bit for the episodes, I think about like, what did we talk about and what can I pull out from there and kind of like expand on a little bit. With Amanda's, I had so many options and so many different directions I could take it. And so here's the one that I've landed on. It's not necessarily the most groundbreaking thing, but I think I needed the most. So maybe you can take something from it too. So kind of early in the episode that you're about to see, I asked Amanda something about what shifted her style, if she had to try on some things to then find what she considers to be like her system now. And we spent some time talking about trying stuff on. I've been sitting with that for this week and thinking like, what do I want to try on? Because right now I'm struggling with my Hobonichi. I mean, she's doing fine, but I'm really behind. I've done like 1 or 2 things in April and not very much in March. And I'm just in this zone of like, not really sure what I want this to be anymore. What I want to talk about right now is maybe how I can figure out what I want this to be. And I think that comes from spending the next month or so trying stuff on. I think I mean it more so in like trying on challenge hats. Imagine if I mean like a challenging hat. I want to sit down and challenge myself to try on different things. I've written down a list of things that I want to try on, or styles that I want to try on, or challenges that I want to try on, however you want to think about it. And honestly, I would like you right now to pause what I'm saying. And if you don't mind, well, unpause and then hear this and then pause again. I would like for you to tell me what you think when I say try on something in your journal. Okay, did you do it? Thank you, because it's always helpful to hear someone else's perspective. So I'd love to know what that means to you. For me, it means trying on the opposite of what I'm doing. So what is the opposite of my style? I had to sit down and kind of think that through. So I have written down minimalism, beige / low contrast. I'm very spent up here, brain power wise, and I could not think of a word that's like uncolorful. So bear with me. No outlines, limited color, big words. I think I mean like a lot of writing here, and sloppy, not on purpose, which immediately scares me. So from there, the challenges that I could kind of give myself, I'm gonna add one more actually, and comfort zone. So with these concepts in mind of what I think my journaling style is and my journaling practices, the challenges that I have given myself are limited color schemes, a minimalistic spread, which to me can of course mean design, but can also mean timed. I am queen of getting lost in like an episode of Housewives and spending an hour on a page. And when I'm this far behind and feeling like sort of apathetic about it and like not necessarily excited to sit down and back journal like I have in the past. The way that I can get through a bunch of days is to set a timer, but also like if I know I only have 10 minutes and I know that I want the outcome to be up to my standard, what's the most important thing to me at that point? Is it like layers and layers of things? Is it a super accurate drawing? Like, what is it? What can I let go of and still feel like it is me? I could challenge myself to do no marker days. I am very obviously reliant on my Tombow dual brush pens. To the left of me, I have all 108 at my disposal. It's very comfortable for me to grab a ton of markers and do whatever I want. So what could I use? Do I want to dip back into my gouache or pull out old watercolor sets or fluid acrylic? Like, what can I play with to get me out of that comfort zone of the markers? And speaking of comfort zone, I talk about this too much, but I would really like to get away from my desk and my zone of perfection to almost prove to myself that I can still do it. Isn't that so silly? As a person who has been creative my whole life, who has been in the active pursuit of art my entire life, I'm a little disappointed that I do feel so rigid about my art practice, that I have to have access to every single thing, every single tool in my arsenal to create something interesting, that I have to have an hour if I want to do anything meaningful. I have to have exactly what I want to watch on TV if I want to get into the perfect journaling session. So I would really like to stretch my legs a little bit, literally and emotionally, and just practice creating away from my desk. Julie Plans, God bless her, is sending me a Delphonics pouch. This is still very comfort zone, but I'm like, oh, well, if I had that, then I could journal outside the house. So it's truly like unwell behavior. And I just am so grateful that she is kind of riding that unwell train with me and is willing to foster that idea that if I have this pouch, I will be perfect. So thank you, Julie. And lastly, my challenge, and I don't know exactly what this means yet, so maybe we'll figure it out together, but maybe to catch up and, get done with these pages so that I can actually spend some present energy on present days. I'm so tired of being in the past. Maybe the answer is I just don't give a pages. And maybe that means that it's one big drawing, a timed page, something that's just like fast and loose. Maybe it's gluing in ephemera and calling it a day, fast collages, selfies. I think I put a lot of pressure on myself to occasionally put out seemingly low effort, high impact pages, when in all actuality, like, they are quite high effort. And I can still really love what I did and be like, wow, I wish that I hadn't spent an hour on that. I put a lot of pressure on myself to be like reinventing the wheel every time I sit down to make a page. And that's not sustainable for a practice, for creativity, for general enjoyment. So I think part of this could also mean giving myself permission to repeat something from a past journal. Like, God forbid, Lizzie McGuire, you're an outfit repeater. I just saw a reel of that this morning. That's so funny that is sort of applicable here. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I would love to know how you are going to try something on in your journaling this week. Please let me know in the comments. Amanda, you're a delight. I speak for the internet. We are so lucky to have you. Amanda has shirts. Can you hear me? Let me get my microphone stand. Oh my God. Amanda has shirts and crewneck sweatshirts available for pre-order right now. She's also hosting a journaling workshop, and I definitely think that you should grab a spot before they sell out, because this one's going to be a limited run and you don't want to miss out. Same with the shirts and the sweatshirts. Okay, enjoy this episode. Sorry this intro was so long. I had a lot to say, I guess. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Talk to me about this singing. I just also learned that about you.
So that's like my day job. It's weird to call myself this, but I am a professional singer. I'm hired to go out and do events. And I also like teach voice from my home. I have a like behind this computer is my like studio area. And I went to college, got my degree music ed, emphasis vocal, took from some prolific vocal instructors and pedagogues. And so now I just go in my community, I share that and teach
So
people.
cool.
And yeah, it's really fun. It's like
Wow.
it's another passion of mine. It's really fun.
Yeah. So Elaine's a singer and she did like choir growing up. In college, she did choir and she loves it. And I enjoy it, and anything that she
Yes.
loves obviously I'm going to support, but it's such a talent that I wish I had. Like even when we're in the car, we were listening to Katy Perry yesterday, just like singing along, and the way she sung along to something was like so impressive that I was just like, oh, that's so cool. Like
Go,
I
Elaine,
wish I had
go.
that. I know and she gets shy too, so I'm like I wish she would do it a little bit more,
Singing
but
is such a vulnerable art. It's one of the few instruments that like it's inside of us. And so,
yeah,
and then so when it comes from you, it's like, it's that's why it's so vulnerable because it's, not you can't blame it on an instrument or the strings or something you're
exactly.
holding. It's like inside of you.
Do you think anyone can learn to sing?
Yes. Emphatically. Yes.
That's so cool.
In the same way that like when you go to the gym and you haven't been to the gym in a while and you start lifting and you're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I get so many people that walk in my door. They're like, listen, I used to be a soprano. Now I'm an alto. My range is just shrunk. I'm like, no, listen, you just don't know the tools. Let's
Yeah.
work those muscles out. Let's get our form correct. And then they're soaring. So a lot of it is just learned muscle behavior repetition. As long as we get those muscles doing the right thing, you can do a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, I feel that way about drawing and art too. Like it's
Yes.
practice, it's
Yes.
muscle, it's building. That's a great analogy to talk about like the gym and not being able to like lift as heavy as you used to could.
Yeah, you take a break from a while, you got to come back and like warm up again and fix some
Yeah.
things.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's cool. Okay, well, I'm gonna learn how to sing because you told me I could.
Yeah, you can. You totally can.
I feel like you are my go-to pen girl.
Yes. That honestly
I'm
means a lot.
anything that and you're swatching and you're doing it, anything that you have, I'm like, well, I gotta have it. But also you don't promote like overconsumption, which I know is a crazy thing to say, which like
No,
is
that
behind
like
you is like a
I'm gonna get that
bajillion
tattooed on
pins.
my forehead because that
Yeah.
means so much to me. I don't want to, and I know my collection is massive, but
But
I
it's
don't
a
want
collection.
it is a collection, and I don't want anyone to feel like they have to have this in order to have fun with pens. So thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah, you do such a good job of explaining like this is what this pen does, and if you're looking for this, like it's a great one. Or even I watched a reel of yours earlier that was like the some gel pens, I forget which one they are, and you're like that you can get the whole collection for $50 on Amazon, and it's great if you want something that's cheaper or that if you like the way this barrel feels. Like you're really good at calling out like the benefits of it, so that way I can
Mm-hmm.
be like, oh, okay, I love the way that looks. I probably don't need that one.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
cool. So, how did you get into all of this? Like, what? I just
I
start from the beginning.
Oh man. Okay. So the beginning is let's go back to little Amanda. She's like 4 or 5 years old, hasn't started kindergarten yet. But I've always loved to draw and I love the practice of taking what's up here and like putting it to paper. That has always been a need of mine. So before I could even write, I watched my mom fill notebooks. My mom has really beautiful loopy cursive. And so I would take her notebook and I would flip the page and I would trace her cursive on the back side of it. And so like this has been a need of mine for a long time. And like so with that comes like cute handwriting. I would practice my handwriting. And then I think the gateway drug to the pen situation was Sharpies in high school.
100%.
It was like the packs, the colorful packs, the way that Sharpies make such a bold line and like the responsiveness to writing and coloring, I was just like, I need to have them all. So
I
that's where
felt
it
like
started.
I felt like Sharpie was the first time I saw like a neon color in something that like wasn't a highlighter. I was
Yes.
obsessed and like burning a CD for a friend and then drawing on the CD with the Sharpies. It was like, oh, it's next level. Can I ask how old you are?
Yeah. I'm 33, 33.
Okay, disgusting that you're younger than me, but that's incredible. Obsessed with that. I mean, I'll be 35 in January, so it's not or
Oh, you're not that far.
July.
It's fine.
What
Yeah, yeah.
am I saying? 35 in July. So it's not like it's that much younger, but I
Yeah,
totally understand. Like that's the vibe for sure is like you're totally right. Gateway because of Sharpie.
it
And we
was.
were in high school when the Sharpie pens came out, right? Or was that college?
I think that was
I think
college.
you're right because it
Yes.
really like changed the game for me
Oh
big
my
time.
gosh. Yes. So high school was like Sharpies, Sharpies. I mean, the boyfriends that I had in high school gifted me Sharpies for Valentine's Day because that's how
That's
obsessed
hot.
I was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was. I was like, nice job. But then in college, I started like, you'd study with friends, or like I would see girls would have, I think I went to over to a friend's house for like a study session, and she had the pack of Statler Tri Plus fine liners, and it
Hmm.
had the case that like folded over and
Oh
like
yeah.
lifted it. I was like, oh my gosh, where did you get that? That's kind of where like the other collection, and I started looking into different brands. And so I had like a decent collection in college. And this is such like, this builds community for me, because when people come over, I'm like, let's color, let's try
Yeah.
some pens.
Right.
And so we would invite boys over for dinner. And after dinner, we'd pull out paper and pens, and we'd have like them draw a piece of artwork or color something. And if it was really good, we'd hang it up on our art gallery wall above our kitchen table. But it's always been a sense of community for me. I'm like, let's color and talk. Let's do
Yeah.
this. Like you would share a meal almost.
Hmm.
And so college is where I really started upping my collection. And then as I, had kids and got married and stuff, it was still a very important part of, you know,
Yeah.
who I am.
I love the idea, because I think also we're of the generation where you used to talk on the phone
Mm-hmm.
and like having the doodle notepad beside the phone was like also so important. So I love the idea that it's like, yeah, come over, take the pressure off, just like
Yeah.
talk and let's color.
Yeah.
Wow. So when would you say you started to like how I guess how did you get to where what I'm looking at behind you? And how long has it been?
This dates back to 2012.
Wow.
That's how long it's been.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like when I say that a pen lasts for a long time, I've got years under my belt.
Yeah.
I've got years under my belt of using it. So, and then I just also love reading about pens. So, like, there's blog posts out there. Like, pen companies don't share a whole lot about production, if you've noticed. I've
Hmm.
actually emailed people and been like, hey, would you share about your ink formula? Like, would you with me? I want to know.
Yeah.
But I love watching people use them on like YouTube. And like when bullet journaling came out and that kind of like hit the YouTube scape, I was obsessed.
Yeah.
But I'm very much like a longhand journaler. That's
Hmm.
that's just how I journal. And so when this creative like Hobonichi journaling came out, I was like, oh my gosh. And I've had to shift how I journal since I've had kids too. Like
Hmm.
I used to like fill page and page and page of words, and then
Yeah.
like, being interrupted every 3 seconds. That's just not
Right.
very conducive. So watching you guys do like the very creative, like glue ins, you're so good. And I teach this at my workshops. You guys zoom in on small moments. People
Oh,
think
that's
people
well
think they
said.
have to like fill the whole day. This is what I did from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. But like I will always remember there was a post in your Hobonichi of like you guys fired some snowmans, and it was a bunch of butts, and you just doodled all the snowmen and their butts.
Mhm.
I was like, what a beautiful way to capture that day. And you zoomed in. You're like,
Yeah.
this is funny, and I'm gonna like just make this about the whole page. And I think that takes a ton of pressure off of journaling, because it's just like one moment, that's all I'm going to focus on, but it still captures your day or that moment really well. So
Yeah, and I think a lot of people get in this zone of like, well, my day's boring and I don't have anything to talk about. And it's like, yeah, if
yes.
you sit down and you write, okay, I woke up at 8 and then had breakfast and then went to work, it's like, yeah, that's pretty boring. But I'm sure
Yeah.
there is that one thing. And I have had to teach myself that over the short years I've been working. My Hobonichi is like my first book. I was absolutely being like, woke up and had
Mhm.
breakfast and went to work. And it was like, I don't like it. I don't need that. You know what I mean? So that's very well said to zoom in on the small moments because it takes the pressure off.
Well, and I think
Um,
too, like I talk about this in some of my workshops, like we have all these like rigid rules about journaling, whether they came from society or like how you grew up hearing about journaling. And so like unintentionally, we like cut ourselves off at the knees because we're like, well,
yep.
this is how I'm supposed to journal, or I'm supposed to journal every day, or I'm supposed to
Hmm.
fill a whole page. My handwriting's supposed to be neat. And sometimes you just got to crack that book open and just spew. And I
Yeah.
think letting yourself do that is letting the book be a tool for you, rather than you like serving the journal every single time because you got to abide by these rules.
Yeah, absolutely. So you talked about your journaling practice has changed with kids. What did it used to look like?
So it was just words. I had time. I'd sit down and I would just like, I'd get into a flow. and I would write a whole page at least. And I would probably journal 2 or 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like, I started journaling when I, like, seriously, probably when I was about 11 or 12. And so that was all the way through college because I had time to myself.
Right.
So that's what I did. Then when I had babies, these beautiful, lovely babies, it stopped being fun. It stopped being fun. And that really like scared me a little bit because this has been a part of me for so long.
Yeah.
And then I think also I felt a lot of guilt because I'm like, well, my babies are young. I need to be writing about like their experiences and this is a part of my life. And so I finally was like, I got to change things up. I got to
Mm.
like, so I started like just gluing things in, or I'd write a quote and like let that be enough. And I really just tried to let those little things be enough. And I think one of like the unlocking things for me is I started this practice. I'm a very anxious person. I like to be in control. And
Same.
sometimes when I get down to write, my brain is just like bogged down by like all these thoughts and I can't loosen up to like just write or create. So I started this like presence, like, you know, when you're getting anxious, they're like, I want you to look around the room and
Mm-hmm.
start describing things around you. So I did that with writing, and I would sit down in the middle of chaos and I would start writing about things just directly in front of me.
Mm.
And those honestly are some of my very favorite things to go back and read because I've captured, like, my oldest daughter's 8 now and she was 2. And I talked about her
Wow.
messy hair and how she was eating waffles and she had like syrup on the side of her mouth. And I liked how her voice sounded when she was trying to say the word hexagon, or like, you know, like just those teeny tiny moments. And it didn't take a lot of brain power to do because I was just describing what was in front of me. Now, when I read them, it's like, it's better than a photograph because you're like sucked back
Absolutely.
into those moments. And so I was like, oh, I don't actually have to just like write chronological things about my day. I can
Yeah.
zoom in on this moment, and it's actually really beautiful.
I
So
love that.
I do too. It's one of my favorite things to do, like just to ground myself in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really I like where your journaling has ended up because you do, like you said, you started to glue things in, or sometimes it's one big quote. Sometimes you do go back to like longer form, I've
Yeah.
noticed, and I think that's very cool. I am struggling right now in my Hobonichi cousin because I think for a few reasons. I think one, because I monetized my hobby.
Well, you are one
And
of our founding mothers of Hobonichi journaling.
thank you.
Oh,
It
yes.
hardly feels that way, but I'm like, I don't know what I want this to be anymore, and it kind of freaks me out. And I am curious how you, like, did you decide to change it, or were you just like, let me try on gluing something in and see how it feels? Or what was that process of finding the new style like?
Oh, that's a good question. I think trying on is a really good way to say it because, like, let me give you a visual example. So,
Please.
this is my COVID journal. It was
Hmm.
the first time I ever used Tomoe River paper. I got a really fancy leather cover. This thing is like 450 pages. It's a
Wow.
monstrosity, but a lot of it was longhand. It's
Hmm.
just a lot of, and there was some glue ins, but it was still very much that longhand. And so I was like nervous to glue things in though, because if you've ever, like, the first time you touch small river paper, there's some like fragility that
Oh,
goes there.
100%. Yeah.
So I was a little bit more cautious with that journal, and I was so freaking tired of being cautious. It
Yeah.
was exhausting to me. So I was like, we got to change it up. this is what I did that journal after. So it's like this Frankenstein rainbow like ring thing. And it was so colorful. And it was,
Wow.
this is Paper House, Yellow Paper House. So
I thought so.
yes, they do it so good. So I bought 2 of
Wow.
their A5 ring packs of paper, and then I just put them in
Hmm.
rainbow order. And I was ruthless with this. I was like quotes, glue ins,
Yep.
pictures, because I needed something so different. So I think it's trying on stuff, and then like I need variety.
Yeah.
I needed to like, and then after this, I was like, okay, I'm sick and tired of the colored paper. And also, I don't know
Yeah.
how y'all people do the rings. Like, papers
Yeah.
always went out.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
thing. So then I got like this paper age journal from
Uh-huh.
Amazon because it was white paper, but it was small. And
Yeah.
I've never done like, they think this is like 160 pages or something. And
Yeah.
I and I
That's my preferred work notebook.
these I sing their praises. They're
It's 10
amazing.
bucks.
Oh my
But can I
gosh.
tell you, last year they reached out to me and they were like, "Hey, let's work together. Let's do a collaboration." And I was like, "Great." And they made me jump through all these hoops, never sent me anything. So I'm
That's
like a
really
little, I'm
crappy.
annoyed by that. So I'm not as loudly being like, I mean,
Mm,
it's still a great company, but I'm like, every time one of their things pops up on my Instagram, I'm like, hmm.
yeah. Yeah. Y'all got, you didn't message
Yeah.
me back.
But like for a $10 notebook,
I
really
like this.
good.
I like this better than Leuchtturm. I like this better than
1000%.
Moterm. The
Mhm.
paper is actually bomb.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't like the Leuchtturm paper. I
No,
don't know. It's like silky. I don't like it.
there's a fun, and it's a little too cream for me. When I was pregnant with my first baby, I got a new journal, and because it was hot pink on the outside and it was cream pages on the inside, and I was so sick. I was so sick. And to this day, like, and every time I went to go open my journal, I'd get sick and I couldn't journal. But like cream paper to this day just
Uh-huh.
makes me
Triggers.
like,
That's so funny.
but yeah, I
Wow.
don't like the cream paper. Paper Age is bomb. And anyone who's like, I want to start a book, I'm like, get one of those. It's
Hmm.
got an elastic closure. It
Hmm.
has a bookmark and it's sturdy. I feel
Yeah,
like
it can take a beating for sure.
yeah,
What are you using right this second? What's your current journal?
it's this ring thing from Walmart.
I love how you switch it up, how everyone's different.
It has to be for me.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
has to be.
Yeah, you're not kidding about that variety.
No, and it's like I think I want to explore something, and that's how I test pens too. I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
I'm going to use this pack for like a week or 2 weeks, and then
Hmm.
I'll go put them away, and I'll pull something else out, and I'll try them for a week and 2 weeks, because then it's like if you use it for a while, you're like, okay, I like this, I like this, and it's not just about likes and dislikes. It's like, what do I need in this season?
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking like. So after this was the last journal before it, and it was another Tomoe River paper one,
right.
and I
Where'd
was
you
gonna
find that, by the way?
okay, this is a cafe notes and it's a black cover, but I put masking
Oh,
tape
I see.
on it
I see.
and it lasted a
It's
while.
very cute.
Yeah. But after I was done with that, I was going to move into this really beautiful book from Quirky Cup Collective. She has those like stunning journals. I was so excited for it. I was going through it though, like January, February. And I
Uh-huh.
was like, just wanted to sit down and spew.
Hmm.
And I didn't feel like I wanted to do that in that book.
I
And
see.
so this was on my shelf. It was easy. I have zero thoughts about my handwriting, where I put stuff in it, because it's like a cheap book from Walmart. And that's what I need right now in this
Yeah.
season. And it's been really, I'm glad I went with it instead of trying to doctor myself a little bit to fit into the
Yeah.
pretty book, and I
Yeah,
still
I
have to work
think
through those things.
no, I get that. I think you posted that either in a reel or on your stories or
Yeah.
something. And I remember being like, wow, that's so smart because I do think we get really precious about our notebooks. And it's like almost allowing yourself to be precious about it is kind of a good thing in the scenario because you're like, oh, let
Yes.
me move over, let me shift, get
Uh-huh.
out the stuff that I don't want to put, deal with in here, and then I can be ready for this. And it I think it makes it I don't know, like easier is not the right word, but it's just
There's
smarter.
less thoughts going on
Yes.
up here. There's less, and there's even sometimes like we'll have a journal workshop, and these moms, they're like, listen, I want to journal about this hard thing, usually to do with their kids, and they're like, but I don't want my kids to read it. And I was like, listen, there's no rule saying that everything you write down is so precious you have to keep it. Like, it's a little
Mhm.
narcissistic of us to think that.
Right,
So
exactly.
get it out and throw it
Throw it away.
away. And when you come back and you've got some hindsight, or your heart's full of love about this a little bit more, then let's talk about those. Let's keep those. I was like, but I think
Mhm.
writing it out is still such an important skill to process, but like, we don't need to immortalize the hard
Mhm.
stuff. I'm not saying it's not important, but if you don't want it in there, then don't put it in there. Like,
Yeah,
it's,
I am number one like in my work notebook. If I'm having a bad day or something, I will just like write it out for a second and then turn the page.
yeah.
And I'm not then later gonna put it in my Hobonichi or honestly even think about it again. But you're right. It's like you just have to work through it and process it. I
Mm.
want to hear about these workshops. How often do you put them on? What are they? Are they all in
It,
person?
yeah. So far they've been all in person, and we live in a small town, but the community is so supportive. And so I've done 3 so far. And this was born, we kind of talked about it a little bit, when I had to shift my journaling process, because writing it all out wasn't serving me anymore. And so that's why I was like, I like what you said, I tried different things on, and the process of just trying different things on became the way I journaled. I was like, what do I need today? Instead of being
Mm.
like, this is how I have to show up for my journal. It was, and
Mhm.
so I made this little workbook. We go through it and we identify fake rules that you have about journaling, which sometimes is eye opening. You don't realize
Yep.
Oh, I didn't think that. Okay.
Yep.
And then I pass out my journals. I'm not like, I'm totally okay with passing these, except for like the one from high school, because that's
Yeah.
dramatic and gross. But like I'll pass them out and I'll show them different things that I do. And they're like, oh my gosh. Cause I mean, I scroll through Instagram. I see you guys all the time, constantly inspired. They're not in that world.
Of
So I'll pass
course.
out my journals and we'll have like a full on discussion. And it's so powerful because we've got teenagers, we've got moms, we've got grandmas, women of all generations talking about the art of journaling. And like I leave, I mean, I'm inspired by these women and they will share journaling practices that are really powerful. And so I'll
Mhm.
take some of those things. But yeah, it's like 2.5 hours and we do prompts together. They go home with a goodie bag full of supplies. And so I'm in the process of trying to take it online,
I
but
would love that.
but I'm such an in-person
I know.
person.
I know.
And so I'm like a little terrified because I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, hopefully this translates,
I think it
so
will. I think it will because even I remember you sharing, I really don't think I miss a story of yours, like number one fan over here, but I remember you sharing the thing about the fake rules of journaling. And it
yeah.
was, like you're saying, really eye-opening because I do think we set these parameters, even if it's like every day in my Hobonichi cousin has to be filled, or every page has
Mm.
to have something on it, or
I remember you saying yours was like, I need to have my supplies all around me.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm trying so hard to get out of that zone because this year has proven to be the busiest one I've had in a while. And I can't, like, even shifting to a desk from where I used to work in the living room has upended everything. And it
Isn't
just
that funny
simply
how it does
can't be
that?
like that. Right. And it's like, get over it. I don't, so I'm really, today is after we talk, I'm like, okay, good. I get to have another Hobonichi Saturday. But like, should I shift over to the living room? Like I'm being so silly about it, but yeah, I don't know. How do we like learn that they're fake rules and how do we break them?
Like, man. So I like to do like an opposite. So like you talk about your supplies needing to be around you. What if you limited yourself to two and they were the closest ones to you?
Mm,
Like sometimes I'm sitting at the table with my daughters and they're coloring and drawing and doing all that stuff and I want to journal, but I don't want to get up and get my stuff. So I'm like,
yep.
I'm going to use this Crayola marker right
Yep.
here, and like, because I have a need to create. So I'm not going to take the time to stop myself and gather all the stuff because that sometimes will just like
Takes it
upend
out of
the
you.
whole thing. Yeah, yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Proximity is the lifeblood of
Mm,
my creative process. Whatever is
absolutely.
closest to me is what we're working on. And so like allowing yourself to be like, I'm just going to use that one pen. And then usually like that will start it for you. That'll get the ball rolling and you can be
Yeah.
like, okay, actually I want to go grab two tombos and finish this
Yep.
out or like whatever. But like just go and do and try so hard to shut this imaginary audience up in our head. It is
I
hard
know.
though. Like, and I talk about it, but like I still struggle with imaginary rules. But I do think that there are certain practices that we do that make our journaling unique to
Mm,
us. So like as you try things on, some stuff's not going to work or stick. And then as your needs change too, like that's a big thing. But
yeah. Yeah, that's true. Wow, I love that. I'm feeling very inspired and
oh my gosh,
like
I'm feeling
I think
inspired. I
I
love
will
talking about this stuff.
yeah, and you're so good at it. I think I will challenge. I'm going to challenge myself to do the like limited supplies situation because I start thinking like, oh, if you to be the best you could possibly be, you have to have access to everything, and that's just silly.
Well, and have you seen those artists? They'll share their sketchbook pages and they're like, they're only using 3 Posca colors.
Right.
And I'm like,
Right.
oh,
And I'm
that
like,
looks
oh, it
so
must be
good.
nice. Yeah, I get really taken with color, and I think you do too.
Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah.
So I do want to talk a little bit about color. I want
Uh
to
huh.
ask some silly questions like,
Let's do it.
what's your current favorite color?
Okay. It's this one right here.
I
This
insane.
neon green.
Same.
It's showing up all over my life. It's like on this string on
Yep.
here. My nail
Yep.
lady literally calls this the Amanda color, and I've never been more flattered
That's
in my
so
life.
funny. I
Yes.
love that.
But this one is showing up a ton. It's just so bright and so
Hmm.
fun. I love
Yeah,
it.
I would say this Posca pen is like what I'm reaching for constantly. And I
I
will
love it.
also pull the orange. I also really like the
Oh,
orange,
good
but
neon. I
it's,
also you're like your jumper right here, the neon purple look,
yeah,
that
same,
lavender. Oh,
same, obsessed.
so good.
I would literally, those three colors are like what I can't get enough of. And
Yes.
I'm like, is this forever or is it a phase? I don't care. But
Who cares? We're
yeah,
gonna write
the
it out.
neon of it all. What's your least favorite color?
Ugh.
I know.
Listen, it's probably an orange or a yellow. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's because like I don't have any of it in my color. That's not my palette.
Mm-hmm.
Like those like mustardy
Mm-hmm.
fall colors
Mm-hmm.
are so not my vibe.
I hear that. I hear that. I think like teal is my least favorite color.
Wait, no, so like bright teal or deep teal?
I like a deeper one.
No
Like,
way.
I just honestly like, well, this isn't that fair. This is extreme. I don't, it's like I will use it, but if you
Hmm.
start giving me like shirts or notebooks or paper or something, that's the one where I'm like, "Ugh, I really don't want to mess with that one that often.
See, and
I
I
don't
feel
know
like the
why.
teal is such a good complementary color to the
And it
neon.
is. And I think
Yes.
maybe I'm just have been seeing it too long because I think
Oh, that's fair.
also like growing up when we did, it was like teal chevron
Oh my, I was
everywhere,
just
you
gonna say
know?
that the teal chevron maxi
Yes.
skirts.
And so I think I'm like, I think I have to pull back a little bit and not,
I
um,
understand.
and I also realized like I love just like a blue,
Mm.
like the Delft blue. I'm like, and you know,
Ooh,
and it's so trendy right now, and so I'm really grappling with like, is this my taste or is it just trendy? But I just
proximity.
love
It's a
that.
thing. If you
Yeah,
see it a lot, you're like, oh, I really
exactly,
really
exactly.
like that
So
color.
yeah, I love that. I hated orange growing up. Like it was all my friends knew like I hated the color orange, but
It's
now I'm
not a
kind
good
of
one.
obsessed with it. I don't hit the fall colors like you're saying. There's something a little too like when it gets dusty, it does I can't relate
Yeah,
to
the
it, but
muted, like,
mhm.
yes, colors. That's not my vibe.
Yeah, yeah, love that. Okay,
Yeah,
good. Now that we got that out of the way,
absolutely.
you are very brave in your that you can use a bunch of different inks. And I'm saying this because I'm on a fountain pen journey at the moment.
Me too.
And
Okay, we're
it's
starting.
oh my God, I'm obsessed. But so many of them come loaded with blue ink, and I hate blue ink. And I'm really trying to be better about colored
It's
ink.
not a
And
good blue.
it's not a good
I
blue.
love blue, but it's
Yeah,
not a good blue.
it's not a good blue.
It's like
And
they
I
took the
finally
essence of a ballpoint pen and made it into a fountain pen ink. And I'm like, stop.
1000%. 1000%.
Hmm.
And it makes me crazy, but I'm trying to like get past it a little bit. Even so a friend of mine very kindly went to Atlas Stationers. Oh my God.
I'm so jealous of big
Okay.
cities and their stationery stores.
I know. And I'm like in Atlanta and I know we have something, but
Oh,
I
I'm
don't think they
feral
have
for
it
it.
like that. But she went to Atlas for me, Abby, if you're watching, thank you. And she got me a Lamy Safari.
Hmm.
And she got me this teal ink. And then she also got me the like pilot, like the little kid starter
Oh, the
fountain
preppy.
pen. Is that what it's called?
There's a Pilot Metropolitan, which is nicer, and then I think there's a Pilot Preppy.
It's Kakuno.
Oh,
You
okay.
know this one? It's
Yes.
very, very like basic, basic, basic. But she got me teal and I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to use it, but I hate it. I hate it. I
Hmm.
hate it. I hate it.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, how do I get past that? Do I just get over it?
Listen, if you hate it so bad, move on.
I
That's
know.
what it is. I think that's another rule too that we like get stuck in of just like, well, I mean, I just don't like this journal. Then quit it.
Yeah.
Get one you love.
Yeah, I did.
Close that book up.
I placed an order for like neon green ink.
Okay, I have to see it when you get
I'm
it.
like, Are you even going to be able to read this? Probably not, but I don't care. I did it. And it's hard for me to break past the like teachers use red to grade and businessmen use blue to fill out forms and everybody
Why
else can
are our
use
brains
black.
like this?
I
Gosh
don't
dang
know,
it.
but it really bothers me. And so when you're flipping through your journals and there's like pink writing and then there'll be
Hmm.
purple or something. I'm like, "Oh, that's so fun. I can do it with markers for some reason, but when I'm writing a bunch of stuff, I can't I can't get past just wanting it to be black ink."
I think it comes with, and I actually was pinpointing this when I was thinking about it, but when you like zoom in too close to the page you're currently doing and you
Hmm.
like you think too hard about what ink color you're using, what your handwriting looks like, it
Yeah,
stops the flow. But once you finish a book and you hold that book in your hands and you're flipping through, those thoughts never come to you, right? You're never like, oh, I
you're
shouldn't
so
have
right.
used pink ink on this page or like whatever. It's just like whatever you want in the moment is what goes on the page. And then when it
Yeah.
all comes together, you're like, you see the beauty because you see yourself.
Yeah.
Journaling is a radical act of self-love because
Oh,
constantly we're just like, should I use this? Should I write about this? Should I do it? And when you bravely just like, this is what I want and this is what I'm putting on the page. And then when it comes all together, you're like, look at this. This is all me.
I
It gives
know.
me goosebumps. It
I
gives
know.
because like if I were to take someone else's journal, like I would love nothing more to hold your journal in my hands and just like flip through
Mm.
the pages because it's all Amy. Like this is
Hmm.
so Amy. And so it's hard to like not zoom in because this is the page I'm currently working on and I've got a lot of thoughts and questions about it or whatever. But like honor your desires. Use the neon green ink. I don't care if you can't read it. Like do it. This is the season of the neon.
You're so right. You're so right. And I'm so good at telling other people all these things. Like,
Oh,
oh, get
me
over
too.
it.
I'm
Turn the
preaching it, but I
page.
got
Yeah,
problems.
but it's so hard. But you're right. It's like there are pages in my cousins that I am embarrassed of. But at the end of the day, I'm like, okay.
Right. If
And,
someone were to flip
like
through it, they're like, oh, this is cool. Like,
exactly. And I learned something, and that is more important to me to like learn something or to try it on and see what fits and,
yeah.
shift and pivot. I think growth is just more important to me than
But
getting it
also, like,
right.
I preach this where I'm like, okay, just let it be, honor this or whatever. But there have been several times where I look at a page and I'm like, ugh, and I rip it out and I do it again, or I'll cover it with paper. But that's also
Mhm.
part of the process too. That's the decision I made. I don't want
Yep.
it. We're going to tape a piece of paper over that and try again.
Yep. Yep. Agreed. Oh,
So,
I love that journaling can be anything. And
absolutely
and
anything.
it's like I just wish everyone were doing it. And I was a big journaler in high school and I was a big journaler in college, but as I got older, I was only writing about the bad stuff. And
Oh,
I so right now I'm on my second year of a Hobonichi 5 year.
yeah.
And I like it because it's such a small amount of space. I really can't harp on one thing that at the end of the day like is too negative to really matter. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
could fall into that spiral a little bit. And so I am enjoying it, but I I don't know. I've really had to reframe like what is a journal and
Mhm.
do I what am I talking about if it's not just like this made me mad today? You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
what are
And
you
I've
talking about?
I've actually found too, because like women have talked about like I'm going through this hard thing, but I don't want to write about it right now. And I'm like, I have never gone through something really difficult
Mm-hmm.
and gone straight to my journal. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to sit with those feelings. I'm already feeling them. I don't want to
You're
dissect
already
into them.
thinking about it nonstop.
Yes. So though it's during those seasons that I need to just craft,
Yeah.
collage,
Yep.
pen swatch. And like there's tons of pages of that. And then when I have some space and some perspective, that's
Yep.
when I'm like, okay, maybe I'll talk about it. And even then, like I'm a big list person, huge list. If I don't like, if it's still touchy, like I'm going to remove complete sentences from this
Mm-hmm.
completely. And I'm just going to bullet point some thoughts. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
But like
smart.
I just there are times when I'll sit and I'll process things, but like I've got to be in the mood. The stars have
Mm-hmm.
to be aligned. The children need to be quiet, and that hardly ever happens. So I'm like, okay, let's get it out. That's what I need today, but let's do it in a way that's still serving me, and I don't have to stress that I don't have all of these things aligned to whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I came out much later in life, but and I because I just didn't know. It's not like I was like hiding, but I didn't know
Yeah.
I was queer until I met Elaine. And so I'm 23 and I'm like I'd been in this long-term relationship with this man forever. He was 10 years older than me, and I thought we were going to get married. And so then meeting her and realizing I had feelings like it it was it
A
to
lot
put it
to
lightly, a
process.
lot.
Yeah.
And I remember I had like pretty much stopped journaling then because I was like I instead was reading like a lot of young adult books about being gay or being queer or coming out, and that was how I was processing everything. And so there is a part of me that's like, man, I wish I had a record of coming out
Mm-hmm.
because it was so hard. But I can also really appreciate that in the moment I did what I needed to do. Like you're saying, like
You
crafting
like,
and collaging.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
sought
I
connection through these books.
totally,
Yeah.
totally. So yeah, anyway, it's just something I think about a lot in the journaling space is like, why is it so hard to sit down and talk about the stuff when it's what you need to do so badly?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think sometimes there's some obstacles, like I said, complete sentences. I'm not feeling like I want. I think it was you who shared when you're like going through something really difficult, you like turned your journal and like
Uh-huh.
just like
Uh-huh.
spilled it out and then painted over it. I was like,
Uh-huh.
That
Yeah,
was
because it's like
amazing.
a brain dump. You just like have to get it
Yes.
out. And
And you
and
don't
people are
necessarily like want to immortalize those words, but you just
exactly.
like get them out.
Well, and when people see that, they're like, "Well, you don't want to read that again? Like, what? You can't read it. And why would you do that?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't need to. I can tell you exactly what that was about." And
Uh-huh. Yeah.
it's likely like I will remember
And
forever.
also this is for me right now. And
Exactly.
if I keep dedicating this book to posterity or future me, then I'm not going to
Hmm.
be in the moment. I'm not going to
Hmm.
be in the moment where I need to be. I had this friend and she was going through a really rough time and she shared this at one of the workshops and she's like when I like need to get stuff out and I just like she writes the first letter of each word. So it's just like a letter
Wow.
instead of writing out the whole word and she's like it speeds up so it like keeps the pace with my brain and then I don't have to go back and read all that. And she's like, and I can be ruthless. I can be whatever I want, a single letter of each word. And she's like, and then it's out, it's there, but I don't have to reread it. I don't have to revisit
Mhm.
it. And it was, I was like, that's incredible.
I
I would
love
have never
that.
thought of that. I would have never thought
Mm-mm.
of it.
Wow.
I
Yeah, I'm
know.
a big
There's,
like scribbler, but you're right. It does like even sometimes that's not fast enough.
mm-hmm,
Okay, I love that.
I know.
Are you a big reader or do you ever read?
Yes. So I busted my back last year, August.
Right.
Do you remember this? Okay.
Mhm.
And I was like,
Oh yeah,
I
you
guess
read like 25 books in like a day or something
I
crazy.
no, I like I saw I was like, okay, book talk's kind of leaking into the stationary world I'm in on Instagram. I guess I'll read like one of those popular books. I eviscerated it. I literally inhaled it and then I went on a reading spree and read like 50 books in a matter of 6 months and
Yeah.
like I it was such a like a reprieve because we
Hmm.
have these brains that are so creative and I
Hmm.
think it was Brene Brown that was saying that like creativity doesn't go away, it just masticizes. And I was having one of those
Ooh,
moments where I just needed to get out. So I went into full blown world building with books.
I love
Oh
it.
my gosh. So yeah, I've read a lot, a lot. But
What
I
was your
just,
favorite from that evisceration?
this is scary for me to share because book talk
Please.
is like a beautifully caged animal.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And they have a lot to say. And I think I'm too fragile to be like, oh, these are the books I like. Cause you're like, you like
Uh-huh.
that?
Right.
Ew, or whatever.
Idiot. Yeah.
Okay, no, this is so silly and so whatever. Okay, I'm gonna say it anyway. There
I
was
can't
a
wait.
book series I read. It was the Demonized series by Anne. It was like a story about she like this demon from hell. She accidentally summons him and gets this is spoilers. So if you don't want to hear it, but
Keep going. I
she
love this.
accidentally summons him and then gets into a contract by like the contract is you keep me safe and I'll bake you cookies. The premise is ridiculous, but the way she wrote it was hysterical. And then also the relationship between the two was really sweet. And like I literally inhaled those books. I recommended it to my friend. She loved it too.
Uh-huh.
And it's like they don't get like a great review on Goodreads.
Sure.
Reddit doesn't have a ton of great things to say about it, but it was just like I think sometimes a book rating definitely depends on what season of life you're in, right? Right.
A thousand
Oh
percent.
yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it. I was cackling through the whole thing. It was so funny and cute. And
Okay, wait,
so
what's it called? Say it
the
again.
the demonized series.
Okay.
It's Robin and Xylus. Those are the two main characters. It's
I'm
so
obsessed.
it was ridiculous. And like to say this out loud, to be like, okay, this is
Hey, listen. I last year, I want to say got really into like monster romance.
I love it.
And have befriended an author. Her name's Ashley Bennett. She is amazing and she writes the craziest things to the point where like, we read out in public a lot and I will have my Kindle and I'll have to sort of shield what's happening
Like, oh
because
my
I
gosh.
know the people beside me, they get curious and sometimes I have my font huge and I have to be like, "Oh,
That's so brave
yeah."
of you.
It honestly radical. And sometimes the bartenders will be like, "What's happening now?" And
Oh
I'm like, "I
yeah.
actually can't tell you because I
No.
can't look you in the eye and say it." But I get it. I get it. There's a reason and a season for some of these
Yes.
books that we find.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so I ask. I'm going to take you in a little bit of a different direction.
Okay.
There is a book. Of course, I can't reach it at this moment, but it's called "When Women Were Birds" by Terry Tempest Williams, and it's beautiful. It's a short, really short book, and they're sort of like essays. I think she calls it like 52 thoughts on something something. But basically she grew up Mormon, and in the Mormon
Uh-huh.
tradition, journaling is like a pretty big thing. And every
I am
year,
LDS or they Mormon, but we call ourselves members of the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day
okay,
Saints.
okay. So
Yes.
I'm just like telling you everything that you know.
No, it's all good.
And so is that true that like that journaling is
Oh,
kind of big in the space?
yes. And that's why, like, when we get these workshops together, there's such a guilt and shame complex when it comes to journaling because we journal for posterity. We
Yes.
journal for our children. And
For
I'm like, which is,
exactly.
yeah, which is like an honorable
Uh-huh.
thing, but like it's not serving me. And I've read my
Right.
grandmother's journals and I love when she shares the personal, zooms
Hmm.
in
The
on the
hard.
everyday. Yes, because I
Yeah.
see her instead
Yeah.
of this doctored up story that she's writing for someone in the future.
Exactly.
Yes, big
Well,
time.
so this book is I love to hear that that's actually real because Terry Tempest Williams' mother died and she inherited all of her journals and her mom got a new journal every year just as in kind of this tradition. And so Terry finally sits down to read them and she wants to feel close to her mom again. She cracks open the first journal, it's blank. She cracks open the second journal, it's blank. All of these journals are blank. And so she's sort of dealing with like what does this mean and how and looking
Wow.
for this guidance from her mother and she didn't have it. And anyway, it sounds super depressing, but it's actually really beautiful
Yeah.
and I highly recommend it. But
Okay.
that's that is what I've kind of been thinking about with you saving all these journals and you're right, like they're not necessarily for others, so I get now even more when these women in your workshops are saying like, well, I want to talk about this, but I don't want my children to read it. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know, sometimes maybe they do need to read it though.
Yeah. And also, like, I don't think that I would enjoy reading my mother's journals. I'm too close to that.
Exactly.
I'm too close. I think I enjoy reading my grandmother's. She wasn't my mother. I wasn't raised by her. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think that, and whatever my children, and I've told them to, and they're little, but I'm like, listen, if you want to throw away mom's journals, if you want to keep them as whatever, you can decide when I'm dead and gone, like
Wow.
pick it up. I just like, I think sometimes the practice, we get things out of order because the practice should be far more important than the end result.
Mm,
And
mm,
if we're already holding the end result like higher than the practice, like that's why it's skewed. That's why it's not fun. That's why it's, hard to get into the zone. And
yeah.
so let's stop making the stuff sacred that's not sacred. Like let's just move on.
Mm,
Let's use it. And there's an art professor at a college my friend went to, and like they were doing like realistic faces and hands, which are very tricky things to do. And he would literally walk around the classroom. This sounds so awful, but I get it. People would like draw a good eye and then they'd base the whole face around that eye because they
uh-huh.
accidentally drew a really good eye. And he'd come up, he'd see it, he'd crumple it up, he'd like do it again. He's like,
Obsessed.
nothing is sacred. It's the practice. It is not the end result.
Ugh.
And so he would like crumple them all up and throw them away. And it was just like you were waiting for him to stop by your table. And some kids couldn't kick it because they were just like, this
Of
is how I've done
course.
art. Art for me
Yes.
is the end result. It needs to look good. And he was just like, no, it's the practice. Do it again, do it again. But I think I
Wow.
try to adopt that into my journaling too. And I think because I had to open up, I had to crack something
Hmm.
in order for it to be fun. So I'm going to latch onto those words trying on because I like
Hmm.
that is what I feel like I
Yeah.
try to do again and again.
And I'm going to latch on to everything that you're saying. The notes that I'm taking is insane. I'm so excited.
This
Wow.
is a
Okay.
mini journal workshop between
I
Amy and
know.
Amanda.
I know. I'm like, wow, I feel like I should be paying you for this.
No.
Um, okay. So I have noticed in your content that I think you also have a traveler's notebook. Like, is that your planner? Or are
Yes.
you a planner?
Okay. Oh, that was the one thing I didn't bring down. I'm gonna
Oh,
have my
you're
husband
fine.
bring
You're
it
fine.
down. So yes, I'm a huge planner. Before, like, planning has always been something I've done while I journaled. Everything has to be written down. I don't
Same.
know how people do Google calendars. I guess maybe you have to, but like everything has to be written down for my brain. And so I've always had a planner that was like kind of would have like the month and then the weeklies or whatever. And then I
Mm-hmm.
saw like bullet journaling and I went really into that for a while. I have like a
Hmm.
rainbow bullet journal on you can go look through the flip through. I went hardcore. I did like the trackers.
Wow.
And I found out very quickly that tracking stuff sucks.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I don't know
everybody who
how
does it.
I really don't know how people do it.
Oh,
I want to sometimes, but I'm just not good at it.
I would mood track, which
Mhm.
obviously is the worst way to do things because you just focus on,
The
wait,
bad.
how was my, yeah, I had a
Hmm.
bad day because this
Yeah.
bad thing happened. There's
Hmm.
no, it's this, right? Not
Yes.
just like a color. And so I got really latched onto that and I was like, this sucks. So
Yeah.
I just honestly started drawing the like covers, monthly and weeklies.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know about you, but creativity or expressing that is something I need every day.
Yep.
And it doesn't have to be massive, but like drawing out my weeklies and my monthlies, that fits,
Mm-hmm.
or like drawing out my planner. And so I've kept up the practice. I wouldn't necessarily call it a bullet journal. It's very much a planner.
Yeah.
And like my monthlies, like I'll show you, this was like a standard from Archer and Olive, standard
Mm.
size. And I don't do the months. I just put in like beautiful paper.
Oh, wow. Oh, I love
I
that.
didn't, I like, I needed it to be cute and colorful, but I
Uh-huh.
didn't want to do it. I didn't have time to do it. So I just picked fun paper and that's the
Oh, I love
monthly.
that.
So
And I think that's another like rule, this fake rule that like the page is in the book and it has to stay there, or you have to use it the way that you saw someone else using it, or you have to do the whole thing forever.
yeah,
That's something that I've been trying to break.
I have a hard, fast rule that you have to finish the book.
Yes.
That's like ingrained in my blood.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. So when I didn't finish my 5 year journal that I did 2 years in and I got so
Hmm.
behind that I couldn't even remember, I
Yeah.
still feel like a visceral shame crawling
I'm
up my gut.
having so much guilt around mine
I
because
quit it.
I'm a little off, and I had this moment this year in January. I'm like, okay, am I going to keep doing this? Because November and December really tough busy months for me. I mean, they're busy, they're tough for everybody, but I'm working 16-hour days and it's just not fun. And so I'm like, okay, am I going to keep doing this? And so I'm in it in January for a couple of weeks and I'm realizing I'm like, oh, I do really like looking up and being like, this is what I did this day last year. And that's tough because I think if I didn't have this thing, I would have more of a journaling practice and like traditional journaling practice, or I would be using my week pages and my Hobonichi cousin to do a little bit more journaling. And so it's really, I do feel very locked in for the next 5 years. And I don't know if
Listen,
I'll do it, but we'll see.
people who do the 5 year journal thing, I bow to you. I don't think I could probably do it if I like locked and loaded, but I'm
Mhm.
such a man. I was backlogging like crazy and I hated myself for it.
Yep.
And I was just
Same.
like, this sucks.
I know I can't be
So
behind on like two giant like date-based projects. It's
I
just a little too
literally
much.
like in this journal right here, I have pages being like, okay, today we're gonna backlog the 5 year journal. Let's do it. And
Yep.
I'd write each date out and I check them off as I went. And I was like, this is
Uh-huh.
consuming my life.
Uh-huh.
So
And I've noticed this year, so I'm also a big planner and I also have to write
oh,
everything down.
yes.
And I was in a Hobonichi Weeks for a while, and it was just not big enough. And before that, I was in Yellow Paper House planners for many years. That's actually how I found them. And that at the time was too big. So I'm like Goldilocks over here, but shifting into this happy planner that I have.
Uh-huh. I know. I've been watching this. This has been
Okay,
fun.
I'm like, you talking about like you needing the creativity of it all,
Yes.
same, but
Thank
I
you.
can't sit down and draw it out. I love having the stickers and like, and this is the
Yes.
pops of color that I don't want to commit to with my pen ink, but it's exactly what I need. And I'm finding that I am treating this also like a diary. Like I'll come in and be like, yeah, we went here for dinner and this happened, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know. I'm doing in my happy planner what I should be doing in my 5 year journal, but oh well.
It works out because like honestly, and also like the spread, you get to see like your whole month or your whole week. And what you like, it's like the non-committal decorations. Like it's just like,
Yes.
okay, I'm gonna use that's what I use. So this is he just brought it to me. This is my planner, my wallet, and my bullet journal slash planner. And so I've got this is my notebook dump book.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So this is just like planning messy thoughts and kids
Wow.
doodles.
Okay.
This is my actual bullet journal. And there's accidentally so many pages in this thing that like I started this in 2024.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's massive, but I'm like, well, I gotta finish it.
Oh, of course. Of
But
course.
like I'll do things like this, like it's a to-do list, but all I did
Mhm.
was highlighters. And it's just enough creativity that if that's all I do today, I'm
That's
okay. Like
perfect.
it
Yep.
gets me through the day. So yeah, the stickers, the highlighters, just easy,
Yeah.
non-committal little things like that. I agree. I
So
do need it.
let me see this. Let me see the whole setup again, if you don't
Okay.
mind showing it.
Yes. So they're supposed to be like, Traveler's Journal have those
Uh-huh.
strings, and I don't because I pull them out so often.
Uh-huh.
So they just
So they
sit.
just sit in there.
And then I put these like
Wow.
rainbow beads, of course,
Uh-huh.
on my like and tuck
And
that
it's
back in.
funny because I've seen this on your Instagram, but I didn't quite register how big it is.
It's massive. My husband makes so much fun of me.
I
He's like,
bet.
your wallet is like breaking your back. You're just carrying this massive thing around.
So
But
where
it's yeah.
your brain dump notebook, what kind of notebook is that? Because I know I'm curious. I think people might ask.
This is a book. I actually got it at the thrift store. It was like
I'm
in the
obsessed with you.
a massive pile of stationery things, and I was like, "Oh, that's cute." And I needed another brain dump book,
Uh-huh.
and I knew this one was going to be messy. There was some big things that I just needed to like get on paper. So if you can see, there's just stickers that say brain dump,
Uh-huh.
but I
So
ran out
cute.
of certain letters, so I just used the other stickers. And like, it's not anything major. So this is like spring break. That way I can write
Yeah.
big. I
Yep.
can write big and not care about how many pages I'm using.
Mm-hmm.
Like I planned out my whole journaling workshop book in this thing because I needed to see and like
Uh-huh.
format
Exactly. Yep.
what I was going to put in there. And so this thing, like I'll fill one of these like probably in a month or 2 months,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll make another one. And then my bullet journal is just a book I got off of Amazon, and
Oh.
it's grid instead of dot grid, which I
Uh-huh.
kind of love.
Okay, I was gonna ask, what do you prefer?
Dot grid is tricky for me. I love aligned. I'll
Mhm.
always buy lined journals.
Same. Oh my God, obsessed. That's the best thing
I
you could have ever said to me.
I literally can't, and I've done dot grid before and it's not awful, but like I just love aligned. But the
Same.
grid is a little bit like the best of both worlds for me.
Exactly. Yeah.
So and it's like this is like a weekly spread. It's lots of
Mm-hmm.
color with highlighters and nothing. I don't know. If I feel like doodling, I'll doodle, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
And then I use a ton of washi tape. This
I
is washi
love
tape.
I love how precise you are.
It
I
really
could
isn't though. If you
never.
looked close, it's not. I
No, no.
promise.
Mine would be sideways, wavy somehow, like crinkled. It looks so good.
I promise it's all like, and then I was gifted I bought pens off of a lady on Facebook and she like gifted me a bunch of washi tape. I was like, that's so cute. So this was that washi tape, but
Love
I love
that.
it. I love a stripe. So, I mean,
Yeah, same.
it's, I use it all the time. It's not very creative, but I'm like, oh, rainbow stripe. Absolutely. So
Yay. I like having that stuff in my back pocket.
yeah.
So
And
how
then
do you
I was going to show you real fast.
Yes,
Sorry.
please.
So this is Hunky Dory on Etsy. She
Okay.
makes these fabric wallet inserts. I've had this for sorry, I'm not on my microphone. I've had this for like 3 or 4 years. It's
Wow.
amazing. Oops, there's
So
pockets.
literally, when you go to the grocery store and you're checking out, you break
I
out this thing.
bump this, but yes, all but
That's
pull out my
fun.
checkbook. People
That
comment
is
it all the time, and it's just whatever.
Hey, I mean, I love that because I'm like, I'll t the receipt if it's if I had the if I could do it like that, it'd be great because I like to just shove a receipt like
Oh yeah.
in the
This thing gets so
papers.
messy so fast
I
because it's so big,
bet.
it holds everything. But I love it
Wow.
because like I'll go to rehearsal or I go to my daughter's dance class and I have everything in this thing. Like it's there. So
You just know. Yeah.
yeah, I've got my planner and my notebook that I can just scribble in or whatever.
So this giant planner notebook that you have,
Mm-hmm.
you said you started it in 2024
Oh
or
yeah, this one, January
yeah,
of 2024.
and so it's April 2025. You're still in it, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about potentially needing to go into another book in
Oh,
like,
I'm hungry for it.
are you? Well, is
Oh
it
yeah.
you'll be fine being like, okay, we're starting in June.
Mm-hmm. I this one I started in November. This one, this was a January start because this was the
Uh-huh.
first actual like bullet journal. And then I took a break from writing everything out because it was a season of life. I was like, okay, I don't have time to. And then I got the Aura Estelle Annie Plans A6. This
So
is
cute.
so beautifully constructed. Like
Really?
the thought that went into the design of this is my mouth is watering.
Yeah.
However, it's an A6 and I
Yeah,
needed
it's
more room.
tiny.
It's
It's
tiny.
tiny.
So I kind of DNF'd this a little bit. I think I
Hmm.
finished it. I stopped using it though because I felt like I was writing
Hmm.
like this. And I need an
Hmm.
A5 at least, is what I've
At
learned about
least.
myself. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Wow.
Sorry.
I
Just
just
took
want
you
to
on
come
a
over.
journey.
No, that's so much fun. I just want to hang out forever. And
Come
also
on
you
over.
have like so easily answered. So here are the questions that okay, they're bullet points that I had written down.
Okay.
So favorite pen. Well, I guess we'll
Oh,
go. Well, let me tell you what we've covered so far. We've
okay.
covered favorite color right now.
Mm-hmm.
We've covered like notebooks, and I have preferred paper here, but it seems like you're kind of all over the place as long as it's not cream.
Mm-hmm. Or
Okay.
bad.
Or bad. That's
Mhm.
fair. And what is bad to you?
If it has a little bit of a tooth to it, like if
Mm-hmm.
you can feel or it's chawing at my pens, it's out the
Mm-hmm.
door.
Yep.
So I just like something with a little bit of a coating on it, so it protects
Mm-hmm.
my pens and it's super smooth. And I like a white paper.
Okay. All right. We talked about kind of like your journaling, like what it is. I say, what is your setup? Traveler's notebooks, is that considered bullet journaling? We've gone into all of that.
Yeah.
Um, so I have here, do you reference your swatches when you do pen swatching?
I swatch everywhere. It's like a nervous tick.
Yeah.
I
But do
have
you go back and look at them?
um no.
Yeah, I don't
I
either.
It's like a piece of artwork for me.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really is. I'll swatch in my swatch books that I have here for like Instagram. I use those. I
Mm-hmm.
swatch in my bullet journal and I swatch in my journal.
Mm-hmm.
It is like I think I just swatched just the other day. I got some new Sharpies, Speak of the Devil.
Oh, did you
Um
get the Earth kit of?
no, I actually just got some of the classics because I got the chisel tip, the big
Oh.
giant ones.
Oh, I want those. Okay. Wow, 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 wow,
Like
wow.
every once in a while, you just gotta go to the store and buy yourself a pack of Sharpies. It's
1000%.
self care.
I could not have said that better
Yeah.
myself. I am finding that last year I was not working with Tombow last year, and I only had, 30 Tombow dual brush pens.
Oh my gosh, let's pause just by the way. The illustration you did of Atlanta, the map.
Oh,
Oh
thanks.
my gosh. I
I
was
was really
literally
proud of that.
zooming in on things. It was so
What's
cool.
so funny is somebody messaged me, Bailey messaged me, hey Bailey, or tagged me or something, and she said, "Oh, I would so buy a copy of that or print of that." And I was like, "Oh, whoops," because I cut it up and put it in my Hobonichi. I'm like, nothing, you're right,
I
nothing is
already journaled
sacred.
it.
I'm
Yes,
like,
yes.
yeah, already ruined it. Sorry.
Commission me, I'll draw a new one, whatever.
Honestly, I should do that. But yeah, it was so much fun. And, now I have every single Tombow product that they make. I have like a
Uh-huh.
dresser drawer filled with everything. And
Which, by the way, I'd love to dig through that thing.
oh,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
fun. It's kind of a fun party trick to be like, you guys want to see my Tombow drawer?
Yes.
But yeah, last year I swatched, my 30 pens and I did not look at it once. And
No.
so you're right. It is almost just like an act, right? Like you do
Mhm.
need to see it and it is like it's kind of finished work of art. But yeah,
Oh, and it
I'm
makes me
not
feel good when
really,
I do it.
yeah,
Makes me feel
yeah.
real good.
I definitely think that I should do like um standalone swatches so I can make different color schemes because I can't always visualize like how it will look together unless I'm, physically
Yeah,
putting
and
it
I
together.
will say like my giant vat of Tombos, like I'll pull out certain ones and make a rainbow swatch. And I
Hmm.
will write those ones down, like of how
Yeah.
the colors look together. We've got a big vat of alcohol markers up in the coloring cabinet that like I'll pull out different ones. I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
I like that rainbow swatch
Yeah,
for
that's smart.
journaling.
Yeah. Okay. You talked about fighting for pen use at your high school,
Oh
especially
yeah.
in math class.
Big
I'm
rebel.
curious, do you use any pencil ever?
No. And I'm in
Obsessed.
music. I'm in music.
Uh-huh.
And so
Uh-huh.
like I will use a friction if I absolutely need to erase, but I think that we've been lied to because everyone's like you're going to need to erase, you're going to need to erase. I don't
Mm-mm.
ever erase anything.
Mm-mm.
I'll scribble something out and I'm fine. I'd prefer that than the texture of a pencil.
So when you're doing these drawings, because you do very cute like contour drawings, just like the one we just saw in the Sharpie
Oh yeah.
swatching, you're just going
Pen
for
to
it?
paper.
Obsessed. I could never. I could never. But
I I mean, I think sometimes like I'll do a first sketch so I get a
mhm,
feel for the
you get a feel for it.
lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll if I really want to take some time, but if it's just in my journal, I've got a lot of bad sketches in my journal.
I
You
don't
know
believe
it's
it.
bad because I've had to like draw an arrow and be like this is a poorly drawn such and
Oh
such,
yeah.
like
Like
yeah.
oops. Yeah. Hey, I've been there. So my question is, do you do crossword puzzles?
No.
Well,
That sounds awful. Sorry. That's my brain I can't do puzzles or anything like that.
I get it,
Oh.
and that's fine, but I'm so because there are people that are adamant about doing their crosswords in pen. So I
Oh,
was
oh, the
curious
confidence.
if exactly,
Oof.
exactly. And I do one on an app, so I don't even have to do it with a pen or a
Yeah.
pencil. But for a while, before Elaine and I read at the bar together, we would do crosswords together in a book. We would just carry a big New York Times compilation book
That
around.
is so cute of you
It's
too.
really fun because it's like, I get so sad when I see couples just like at a restaurant, both on their phones. And
Yeah.
I'm sure people think it's weird that we're both reading, but the crossword arrow was really fun because you're like, okay, you're sitting there and you're talking it out. And it's fun. We got a lot of food on those books though, which
Oh
was
my
a
gosh, that's so sweet.
kind of why we shifted. But yes, okay, so no crosswords. Don't have to worry about pencils and crosswords.
No.
Um, this is a trick question.
Oh.
But what is your favorite ink color? I talked about hating blue ink and I talked about
Ooh.
being black ink girly. If you have the choice and you're like, okay, this is going to be it, what's it going to be?
Okay. This is like a triple tiered question, so bear
Please.
with me. Black.
Yeah.
A striking, juicy black. All the
Mm-hmm.
way. All the way. Okay, so that's just like if I was on a desert island, that's the color I would
Mm-hmm.
take. However, I am pulling out a deep, deep teal. Like these pen companies now are making these like blue black inks that are just like so
Mm-hmm.
good.
I
And a
can't
hot,
handle those. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and a hot pink,
Yeah,
a
of
hot
course.
corally pink. Oh, I
Mm.
love it.
Okay.
Yeah, those are
Good to
my
know.
those are my top three.
What like point of pen do you prefer?
Okay, this has been an interesting thing because when I started my Instagram, I am like a thin point. I think my handwriting lends to it because I
Mm.
write in all caps and I'm very precise with the way I write. So I love a point three, point four,
Mhm.
Japanese point five, love those.
Mhm. Mhm.
However, being in this journal,
Mhm.
I have literally written with like the click arts. I've written with the
I
skinny
love those.
Crayolas. Oh, they're
Mhm.
so bold. So,
Mhm.
and then I've just been using really, really thick nibs for this journal and loving it. So I
Interesting.
think it's just like
It just
depending.
depends.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
and like my Tomoe River paper, so like my cafe notes was always
Mhm.
a thin point, always a thin
Mhm.
point. However, I will say if you're using Tomoe River paper, I never use a fountain pen in this, and I know they're like
Mhm.
fountain pen best friends. I used a flare, a Papermate flare. That combination,
Is it
it's
good?
almost sacrilege. You can't bring those up in pen groups because they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're using a Papermate flare," and it is so smooth. I loved it. I use a
That's
Papermate
good to
flare on
know.
that all the
I
time.
haven't used a flare in a really long time. They used to be my like go-to pen. I used to be a really, really thick girly in that way. And in a
Mm-hmm.
felt tip, I loved a felt
Oh, I
tip.
love a good felt tip. Yes,
And now I'm really not. So I haven't used Papermate in a while. So I need to bring that back. Do you ever use the Tombow hard tip Funosuke?
that is one of my top pens.
I have
In
to have it.
fact, I almost like messaged you and Natasha because you guys were talking about the soft tip one. And I was
Mhm.
like, the soft tip Tombow was trying to replicate what the Pentel Fude does and failed.
Mm, well
This
said.
if you want a soft tip brush marker, use the Pentel Fudes. They're so much better, so much responsive. But the Tombow hard is like
It's perfect.
it can do no wrong.
I love it. Will I say this as a Tombow representative? So they're not always consistent, obviously, coming out
Yeah.
of the pack, and that is the only thing that bums me out about it because I've gone through like three lately where they won't necessarily um I can't break them in like I normally can. Like a one
Mm.
that is broken in that has that like
Ooh,
rounded tip a little bit.
some
It's
like dry streaks
perfection.
in it.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. And lately, like they've been a little too pointy, but that's okay. Yeah,
I will say, and this is
yeah.
so like specific, but when I buy the Tombos in the pack, so the pack that you like open up,
Hmm.
those are not as good as when I buy the bulk off of
Same,
Amazon.
same.
The ones bulk on Amazon work really well, and the ones I've gotten in a pack have been not as
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I wonder why that is. I wonder if it's where they're being.
I actually had a lady message me on Instagram the other day because she was talking about a pen that I love, and I don't remember what it was, but she got a pack of them and they were like skipping way bad. And I was like,
Mm,
I've never had that happen. What kind of paper are you using? And I was like, honestly, one of the things that we forget sometimes is like if that pack was sitting in the warehouse for a super long time, I was like, you might
yeah,
just treat yourself to a new pack. Cause I am like 98% sure that's what happened with me in tools.
really.
I bought several packs of tools from my local Office Depot or whatever,
Hmm.
or Office, yeah,
I
not
can never get it
Staples.
straight.
Office Max, Office Depot is the only
Yeah,
one that sells them. And so I bought some there and they were so bad. Like I was openly being like, tools suck. These are
yeah.
awful pens. They skip, they don't do well. And then I bought some at a different location. I was like,
You're like,
oh,
oh,
I see.
I
So
have issued
I
a
had to
formal
retract the things
apology.
I said. Yes, yes.
Yeah. I get that. I have been on, what is this called? Oh my God. I am not like
Oh,
a pen girly like
the
you.
beautiful peas.
I'm obsessed with this pen.
The
And
way
I
that it
wish,
looks,
yes. And this is my, it's the color I
the
love.
color. Yes.
I wish I would have bought so many more of these. When I was in Charlotte recently, after a conference, and I went to Good Postage. If you're near Charlotte at all,
Okay.
please go. It's so cute. And I got this, which I'm obsessed with, and it's a point .5, and it's like my perfect pen.
Hmm.
They did have the point .38, I think. Is that true? Do you know if they make
They
that in
do.
this? Okay.
Yes.
And I do wish I would have gotten that, but sometimes it's a little too thin for me. And I write really hard, like I bear down really hard.
Yeah.
And sometimes the thinner pens will like tear my paper a bit. So I
Yes.
need to work on that. But I
Well, and
also,
if a pen is made in Japan,
mhm,
their nib size is quite a bit smaller than like an
that makes
American
sense.
Pilot or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I had like a point .28 or something that Claire from online put me on.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, it's actually too thin for me. And my
Yeah.
handwriting does not lend well to it. Like it gets really angly really fast. And I don't
Uh-huh.
really like it. But while I was also at the store, I got another fountain pen. I got the
Oh.
Quaco Sport.
What color ink do you have in that?
I have well, so I bought a I bought the multi-pack or whatever.
Okay.
And I think it came with a like a navy or something. And so I instantly put a black in because
Do you
that's just
like
it.
the Kaweco, whatever it's called?
Yeah, I don't even know how I'm
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
deeply saying it wrong. Sorry to everyone.
No, 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 I
I
don't know either.
really do. I really
Okay.
do. So I got but again, I'm really new here. So,
I know I've got like a lineup on jet pens of ones I want to try.
mhm,
But I did a Lamy Safari many,
mhm.
many years ago, but I got an extra fine and a lady was like, that was your mistake. And I was like,
Really?
okay.
Okay, because that's good to know because I think both of mine are mediums.
That's what people keep telling me to get.
And I really like it, but I do want a fine. I do want something a
Mhm.
little less thick because I do. This is perfect. I love it, but
Mhm.
occasionally if I have a lot to write or if I'm in like my 5-year journal, it's a little too thick for the space
Okay.
in
Yeah,
my
yeah.
handwriting. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, I think an extra fine would be crazy. Or not
Yeah. Well,
crazy,
and
but you know what I mean.
that's what I got because I was like, this is what I use in gel pens. But
Right.
as you open up the fountain pen world, it's a whole different ball game, whole
It's a
different.
whole,
It's why I've
yeah.
taken so long to do it because I knew that if I started tiptoeing into it, I'd just
Mhm.
be consumed. You know,
Oh
like
yeah.
there's
I
so
mean,
much to learn.
there is and yeah, the learning part of it is intimidating for me because I want to know everything, but I don't necessarily have the time. But yeah, I've
Well, and
already placed another order for one of these in a different size nib, and then I got the Lamy neon green ink for this one, and I'm just like I'm so
oh,
pumped. I can't
you
wait.
know they sell like a neon green Lamy Safari,
I
right?
know I got to get it. Yeah, Abby picked out
Yeah.
this color for me, which I do like, but
Oh, I love the bright yellow. Yes,
I want the neon green so bad, but
Mhm.
I have to wait until next month. I can't have spent, $100 on fountain
I
pens
understand.
this month.
I
Yeah.
understand. It's like Mother's Day and my birthdays when I go, well, and school supply shopping. My husband
Yeah.
buys me a gift card to Jet Pens every birthday. He's like, you ever gonna get tired of this? I'm like, honestly,
You're
no.
like, never,
Keep it up.
never. When's your birthday?
November 21st.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. I
Oh,
look forward to it every year.
yeah.
And also just like curating the list of
Mhm.
things that's going to show up on your door is like
Yep.
half the fun,
Oh, there's
right?
nothing better.
Oh, deep dive.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, all right. So I got some questions. What do I want to talk about? Let's talk about storage for a second.
Yeah.
What are you using for storage? Is
This
this all of it?
this all my pens know. This is what I show. This is
Sure.
what's out in the collection that you can like because it's like a completed collection.
Yeah.
This is the Sorbus makeup acrylic makeup drawers, and I've linked it.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure I've linked them in my stories.
okay.
What I love about them. Let me just show you. Okay, so the drawer size is long enough that you can fit Tombos in, which is a huge
Oh.
plus.
Oh.
I also love that it has this divot instead of like a pull because those pulls
Mhm.
just like my nails get caught on them or whatever.
Mhm.
I love this. I also just love that they make three different buildable things. So like each um, section stacks perfectly on top, and you can get one with 4 drawers, you can get one with
Mhm.
2, or just a big giant drawer.
I love it.
So it fits your pen needs, but like then you can stack them and it all fits together super nice. So
Yeah.
this is what I call my cold storage. This is what is
Mhm.
downstairs. I still use it, but it's mostly like houses my collection of
Sure.
pens.
And what's your desk?
It's IKEA.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh. We don't have the space, but I would love to have something deep enough like that. Because right now I'm dealing with like I probably only have like 12 inches of actual like working space, and it's just not
And
enough.
I would be honest, they're not deep enough for me either.
Yeah.
I do stuff on here, but like when I most of my journaling's upstairs on my kitchen table
Mm-hmm.
with when my kids are up and around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this thing, and I know you've seen it, but this is my like travel storage. Like this comes upstairs with me.
Obsessed.
This goes,
And so is this filled with your like
yeah.
favorites, like top level?
I wouldn't say favorites. I would say what I'm currently using.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got a new Kelly from Letters and Lattes. I'm part of her Pen Lovers subscription.
So
Like, and
fun.
I'm a pen nerd, and she's constantly got pens that I don't or have never seen before. I don't know
Yeah.
how she does it. Hi, Kelly, you're amazing.
I think I
Um,
have to become a member of this.
and honestly, like the few times that she's given me pens that I do have, I'm not mad about it because a
Yeah,
surprise pack of pens on my door, it's a great day. It's a
exactly.
great day.
How much is it?
It is, I think it's 30, 32 or $30.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
No.
I got I don't even know what they're called, but it comes in these like little cartridges and they're markers. And then it comes with this thing that you screw into it.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh my gosh, I obsess over these for forever. And then like it comes with like a brush tip or like a thin bullet nib.
Oh, I love that.
And then she sent this thing to like stick it in. So these are for a display. And then I bought all
Uh-huh.
the colors on her website. Because once you're a Pen Plus member, you can buy her stock, like her extra stock on her
Oh
website.
my God. Okay, that was
It's
dangerous.
amazing. Yes.
That was really dangerous. She maybe shouldn't have told me that, but okay, well that's gonna lead me perfectly. What is your current favorite pen or type of or package or what however you want to say it? What's your favorite pens right now?
Currently obsessing over. There's two different things. Are they in here? Well, first and foremost, I made these pens at Christmas time. I bought myself all that diamine ink right there, and I got these refillable felt tip pens because we talked about we love a good felt tip.
Whoa.
And I filled them, and I like curated the diamine ink colors that I wanted because me and a rainbow palette.
Uh-huh.
And it was so dumb, like honestly spending money on this, but like it's what I wanted to do it, and I kept wanting to do it, so I saved up and did it for myself for Christmas.
Yeah.
But I got these blank, I think they're called Kuretake Karapo felt tip pens, and you can get them in brush as well. But I wanted the felt tip, and so I filled them with these inks, so I have my own custom like color.
Wow.
And I love them because it's a fountain pen ink. It's very juicy, very non-viscous, and so it goes down really well. These are a dream on Tomoe River paper and also like on my 32-pound H. So they're not super great in my journal because it's just cheaper paper, but I still love them. I still play with them a ton. And this is like a tried and true. I've been obsessed with these for probably the last 6 to 8 months, but Korean brush marker pros.
Let me see these.
So these are, you have them. I know you do.
I don't think I do.
The Korean, well, people call them Karen.
This. Yeah, I don't have this. But
you don't have
them.
these?
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, they come in a neon pack, girlfriend. So get on it. So yeah, here's like this was my April spread neon. They're such a juicy brush marker, and they definitely bleed, which I'm gonna come back to that in a second. Yeah. But like, oh, the color they put down, and I'm constantly lettering with these.
I was gonna say you lettered. Was it school supplies?
Yeah, with is that neons. With those?
Mm-hmm. Sold.
Yes. Yeah. So I love these, and also like, let me just say this about pens. You're gonna find so many blogs, and this is nothing against pen like creators or sharers or whatever, but they constantly are doing pen tests. Mm-hmm. And the criteria that they're putting up against these pens is: does it bleed? Does it ghost? Does it smear?
How fast does it dry? Yeah.
Yeah. Those are not things I'm concerned about. I'm using quality paper, and Tomoe River paper is thin. So I want to know, does it lay down a good coat? Yeah. Is it responsive to my handwriting? Ooh. Does the color of the ink match the freaking barrel?
Yes.
I hate that.
I know, I do too.
That is the quickest way to disgust me. And I'm like, we'll try all the things. But if you get me a beautiful teal pen and I'm loving the color and I go down and write and it's that stupid blue that's in all the ballpoint pens, I'm throwing it out the door.
Hard agree.
That's kind of how I like gauge my pens. It's not necessarily do they ghost. Yeah, of course it's gonna ghost. It's a
Yeah,
good juicy pen, girlfriend.
exactly.
Like,
That's the kind of pen I want.
yeah.
We're gonna be bad. What's your least
Okay.
favorite pen, or what do you think is overrated?
There's a few. There was a huge TikTok boom about the Sharpie S gel.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good pen.
Which one is that again?
It's I don't have it.
You don't have, yeah, well, hey, let me Google it. Let me
I gave
Google
it to
it.
my kids. It's the one of their clickable gel pens. And
Sharpie.
someone said it wrote as smooth as
Oh
that ice
no.
skater on ice.
No, no,
And
no,
I
no.
was like, I've literally
And so
used.
here's the thing. I used to love these. This is
You
I
did?
guess I used to, but
Yeah.
a million years ago. So that when these came out, um,
Uh-huh.
it's been what, 10,
Uh-huh.
15 years or
Something
something
like
like
that.
that. Because I loved the original Sharpie, like felt tipped. Those
Oh,
were my like
yes.
college pens. I
Uh-huh.
loved those. I thought I would use those forever. And then I was like, oh, cool, these are it. And they have like the point .7 and the one. I used to be a 1 point person. Can you believe that?
Mm-hmm.
I can't
Listen, you
imagine.
might circle back one day. Who
And
knows?
I might. But yeah, I actually a couple years ago bought a pack of these and like invested in the big bulk one. I was like,
Uh-huh.
awesome. I'll have this forever and they'll be great. And I was using them and I'm like, they're bad. They're
They're a
skippy.
bad pen.
Yeah, they're really not good. They're just convenient, but
I
many
feel
other pens
like
are convenient.
the ink isn't bad, but the nib mechanism that they have
Mhm.
on that is so scratchy.
You're so right.
There's a lot of friction that I don't want there, and it does
Mm.
skip on me quite a bit. And skipping pens is tricky too because that depends on how hard you push down,
Yep.
how you hold your pen, yada yada.
Yep.
So Sharpie S gel is probably my number one because there's just a lot of hype about it sometimes, and I'm
Mhm.
like, but the Papermate Ink Joys are another really bad pen.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I think what happens, I think those are two pens that people buy when they're like getting into planning or journaling
Mm-hmm.
and it's the entry point is really low or it's easy,
Well, and they
easy
the barrels on
access.
them are dang cute. You see
Yeah,
those popped up there. I want to love them. I want
exactly.
to,
But
but
they're
it's
like transparent in a weird way for
yeah.
me.
And it's the same. It's the same with the nib for me. Like you want it to put down a good slab of ink, and it's
Mhm.
always like
It's a little, yeah,
it goes in the middle. It
yeah.
doesn't like it skips on it. So I listen. This is the true test. When I get pens that I don't like, I give them to my kids. I've got a big like coloring cabinet upstairs, and I'm filling it with pens and markers and stuff. They don't touch those.
Yeah.
They've like
Ooh,
actively, I'm like, hey, grab those, put them in your things. We can go to church. You can color with them. And
right.
she's like, I don't like
You're
those
like,
pens. And I'm like, well,
that's
the
a no.
7-year-old has spoken. So
Uh-huh. I hate to ask this,
that's
but
okay.
what's your pen budget?
Let me just say, I have a husband who loves
Uh-huh.
me way too much.
Oh,
So
and
a
don't we
lot
love
of
that?
a lot of it is like, and I like try to save up. Like you said, the overconsumption thing is like I've dealt with that a little bit. I'm like, okay, looking at my collection, and
Mhm.
I will resell sets on pen groups in Facebook to get
Smart.
like pen money to buy something I actually do really like. And I do
Mhm.
that quite often, actually. I don't do it on my Instagram because it's those women go feral and I
Yeah.
can't keep up with the messages. So
Yeah.
I do it on like the Facebook groups, and then but Christmas I'm always getting pens. My
Mhm.
birthday I'm always getting pens, and then I do my annual stationery shop around
Uh-huh.
school time that I save up for because it is just like it's such like a gift that I give to little Amanda
Mhm.
because she would have
100%.
man when she was buying school supplies. If little Amanda could see me now, she'd be
I
like,
know. She'd
"You made
freak
it.
out.
You
Yeah.
made it."
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's all
there's
for
no
her.
judgment here. Like I'm definitely I get delusional sometimes where I'm like, okay, so I'll go in here and I think I can spend $300 and then I like zoom out and I'm like, girl, stop. I'm like, you don't that's actually crazy.
To make
But
these pens, I'll give a little bit of insight. To make the ink pens, I spent upwards of $160 for a
yeah,
set of 10 pens. But I still
honestly,
have ink that I'm going to use later on and do
exactly.
other things. So
And that to me does not sound that bad.
it's
I
not.
don't know what that
And
says about me, but
and like honestly, like my husband has very expensive hobbies. He does classic cars, and then he's got
oh,
like muscle
nice.
cars, and so
Mhm.
that is stupid
That yeah.
expensive.
Yeah.
He loves it and makes him happy. So that's why I'm always just like, hey, listen, remember when you spent $800 on that new cam? Like I'd
Mhm.
like to spend $200 anyway. But like, and I also make my own money with my voice studio, and so like I
Yeah,
budget
yeah.
it that way and things like that.
Course.
So
Yeah, hey, this is a safe space.
yes.
Like I don't want to know how much money I've spent on all this stuff. I
But
really
I
don't.
also love exploring budget pen options because
Yeah.
I'm like, I love a good deal. So I know that some company out in China has made replicas or like basically dupes of the Uniball P, and they sell
Oh,
them for cheap. And I'm like, I'm going to
love
buy
that.
those and try those out.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to
Yeah.
see how
Yeah.
good those are. Yeah.
Yeah. Love that. You're doing the Lord's work over here with the pen
Absolutely.
testing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wow. We've covered a lot. I do have one little segmenty thing I like to do if I can get
Okay.
my pack of pens, or not pens, cards. And then I'll cut you loose. I could talk to you all day. I'd like to
Oh my
talk to you
gosh,
all
this has
day,
been
but you do,
so fun.
apparently you have children that need you. I don't know. Okay, so my friend Audrey, who's actually my Tombow contact, she
Okay.
very kindly gave me this set of like journaling card prompts.
Oh,
And she gifted it to me with a little journal, and it's like very sweet. You're meant to pull one and then kind of write about it.
that's super sweet.
Of course, I haven't done that part yet, but I do like asking everyone on the show a question. So I'm going to pull a card for you,
Okay.
and unless they're stupid, then I'm not going to do it. I think that one's stupid
Perfect.
as well. Why are all these travel? Okay, what new skill would you like to gain over the next year?
Oh, oh, okay. Actually, this is an easy answer. I want to learn how to work Adobe.
Mm.
I need Adobe. I don't want to
Mm,
need Adobe,
mm,
but my life is lending to be that way. And so
mm.
I've been avoiding it because I'm like, don't judge, but I'm like, I'm just going to use Procreate and Canva for the rest of my
Hey,
life.
no judgment here. No, I went to art school and that was a long time ago, and we learned how to do Photoshop there, and I have not been able to do it since.
Oh, it is a beast.
It's
I would love
hard.
to learn Adobe. I do a lot of graphic design,
Mm,
on the side or whatever. I'm making these workbooks. It would be a really
it would be
useful
helpful.
skill. It'd be
Yeah.
so useful. And then I just got hired to do like a cover design for these books for my friends. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we gotta learn Adobe. Girlfriend,
Right.
you gotta make a vector.
Yeah. Oh.
So
And straight to YouTube, you got to go because
I
they'll
know.
teach you how to do everything.
But I'm going to say this a little bit. So Adobe is the thing that I want to learn, but about the journal prompts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is a pet peeve of mine. Whenever you're like, I want to write something, but I don't know what to write, and you go on Pinterest and you search journal prompts, they're all garbage. And here's why.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're asking you questions like, what's your greatest fear? Girl, I
Right.
don't want to get into that. I'm
No.
looking for loosey goosey fun
Right.
something. So, like in this workbook, I made sure, and Claire from online is so good at doing this, finding journal
Cheers.
prompts that take minimal brain effort and use
Mm.
your creativity.
Give me an
Like,
example.
okay, let me pull out my list here. Um, write one sentence that you need over and over again.
Mm.
Write your to-do list for the day. I do this all the time. My to-do list is in my journal.
Same.
Swatch your pens.
Mm.
Write in a text conversation you want to save because you're just copying it down.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
things like that. Like they're still
Smart.
capturing moments of you without being like, tell us a traumatic childhood memory.
Yeah, and it's like, no,
No,
not
no.
for free. I'm not doing
Mm-mm,
that.
right?
Yeah.
This isn't therapy, girl. I'm just trying to get into my journal. Yeah. So maybe
Obsessed.
we need to make some new Pinterest journaling prompts for people to
Agreed.
find.
Agreed. I know. My friend Kathy is so good at every platform ever. And she's like, yeah, I'm just, I'm spending an hour and a half a day pinning things and linking it to my blog and all this stuff. And she's like, you should do it too. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, I do have a Pinterest plan, but who knows when it's going to happen. But that's it's a good thing to add to it.
Yeah. When you've
Um,
got time.
yeah, right. All this extra time.
Yeah.
So my last question, even though I don't want it to be, is what have you learned about yourself through journaling?
Mm. Um,
Or
earlier, I
yeah.
told you
Mm-hmm.
that journaling is a radical act of self love. And that has been something that I journaled that one day and I'm pretty sure like it really has been that way for me. Instead of like we do document, we do talk about our day and our memories and things like that, but that has been something that journaling has brought out of me that I've loved. I love my thoughts more. I love the way that I think more. I honor my creativity as messy as it is because I'll go back in these books and I'll read these things. I'm like, I'm kind of a funny person.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was really wow, Amanda. And so I've just learned to honor and love those things about myself a little bit more and validate myself. And so I think that's probably been one of the best things that journaling has brought me. And that's why I encourage it to everyone because people are so scared to approach it. And I'm like, trust me, when you start doing this, you're going to see hopefully yourself, but also like how much fun and love this practice
Yeah.
will bring you.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's perfect. You're perfect. I love you.
You're perfect. This has been highlight of my week. Are you
I
kidding?
know. I
Let's
know.
talk
It
about
was
pens
like
and journaling all the time.
forever and always. Yeah.
Always.
This is great. Thank you so much for your time, Amanda.
Thank you so
Tell
much.
everyone where they can find you.
You can find me on my Instagram, Amanda Loves Pens, and get there soon because we're going to do a pre order of pen t shirts and then
Oh,
hopefully get
good.
a Zoom workshop going where you can get one of these and a bunch of other goodies. So follow
Amazing.
me there.
Yeah, it's actually criminal that you only have like 1,000 followers because you're so good.
Listen, I'm going to like actually book a power hour with you because
Come
I
on.
love doing this, like where I can talk on stories and stuff, but the actual act of like getting things where people can reach me, and
Yep.
I'm real bad at that. So
It's so hard. It's hard, but you do a great job.
yeah.
And
So we'll meet again soon, hopefully.
I hope so more than anything.